Welcome to the Grunt Free Press Podcast. I sort of forgot how to open this, the quote-unquote normal way, without making a bunch of horror puns. The Spookfest really took a lot out of me this year. I'm not going to lie. But, I'll do it until the day I die, because someone has to. I really am the greatest unsung hero of the modern age. For further proof of that, go to www.gruntfreepress.com. All your answers are there. Like, why would someone leave a review up for years? A Silent Hill 2 review where he keeps calling the main character from that game the wrong name repeatedly. Just leaves it up there in the review, and then he read it recently. It was just like, what the fuck? Why did I just fucking do that? Should be an easy fix, you would think. And it is. I'm obviously fucking aware of it. I could fix it in 2 seconds, but I don't. You would think it would be just a really simple thing to go back and correct. And you would be correct about that. I'm absolute deicide. The email address is podcast@gruntfreepress.com. And I've been doing this for 226 episodes. It'll come. Everything will come back to me, much like herpes. So BlizzCon happened. I didn't watch it. I'm not that much of a geek. The summary of that, from looking at the headlines, which is all over fucking every goddamn gaming website now, is basically what I got from it is Diablo 4 is coming out eventually. Sometime. I don't think there's a release date for it. I'm not the biggest Diablo fan in the world, but it's all right. I think the series is all right. I played all of them. Maybe I want one, and I've at least played a lot of 1 and 3. Those games are worth playing through once. You know what I mean? Like, I'll play through them. Like, they were okay. I don't get how people play them like 50 times over and grind through fucking shit. They're really fucking just repetitive and grindy. Again, the first time through, when you see the game, like beginning to end, and like, okay, that was a game. that was something. And, but I wouldn't fucking play it more than that. But the couple of screenshots of Diablo 4 that I've seen, it actually looks pretty good. It's looks dark and bloody and gritty. I don't know how well that's going to sit with Blizzard's Chinese overlords, but, as long as there aren't skeletons in it, as us, Chinese people freak out over skeletons, they're illegal there. As long as they don't do that, I'm sure it'll get past the censors, and also, no Winnie the Pooh images or anything like that. Because, yeah, fucking Chinese people are fucking strange. Also strange is the announcement of an Overwatch 2. I just didn't think they were going to make like a full-blown numbered sequel to Overwatch. And not this soon anyway. I played the first game pretty heavily for the first like month it was out. Maybe like for a month, that's pretty much all I played was fucking Overwatch. I played it like every fucking day, and that's not like really a knock against Overwatch at all. A month, like a month straight of just playing one game is just about my limit. Like after that, I'm like, what am I doing with my fucking life? Why am I playing this one fucking game for this long? Then I have to move on to something else, and that's like when it's borderline becoming like an addiction. You know what I mean? Or just fucking like, I'll fucking play games, like different games and shit, but I can't just do the same one over multiple fucking months and years. Like, I look at the fucking people, speaking of Blizzard, like playing like, oh, dude, I played fucking World of Warcraft for whatever, like in-game years and shit. Like, just like, I just couldn't do that. Like, I can't do that shit. I thought like the first Overwatch I thought was great. You can go back and listen to those episodes if you don't believe me. Whatever the fuck they were. I just look for the timeline, I guess, of when the first one came out. But yeah, I mean, I was under the impression it was going to be one of those games that they kept adding new content to, just the base game for years, you know. Which I mean, I guess they did. I'm kind of out of the loop after that first month, but I've fucking heard that they've kept adding characters and game modes and special events and new maps and all that shit. Again, I never played them besides what was just out the first month, but I was kept hearing about like how successful that model was for them and how you know a lot of people were still playing it every night and that's all they did, and you know they fucking grouped up with their friends every night and fucking played it since it came out, pretty much. So I didn't think we'd see an Overwatch 2 for, I don't know, like 5 years or something like that. And, you know, maybe we won't. maybe we won't see fucking Overwatch 2 for that long because it's still, again, it's coming out eventually. There's no real date for it. And it's kind of weird how they're doing it, too. It's not like a brand new game that, like, you know, you're not like starting fresh from scratch, and it's not like fucking, well, if you have Overwatch 1, like that's its own thing, and then Overwatch 2, they're just, you know, building it up from fucking, you know, scratch with new graphics and all that. It sounds like it's almost like an expansion where it's fucking like, well, everybody, you know, you just gotta get like new skins and new bullshit like that, and like there's like a campaign mode kinda, but not. It's just like a PvE type thing you can play, which won't be available in Overwatch 1. But if you're just doing like PvP, you can still play with everybody who just says Overwatch 1. Like it's the same fucking. It's almost like a new season. It's almost like Overwatch Season 2, pretty much. It's just fucking like, well, if you don't buy Season 2, you're not gonna get some fucking like skins and like these different fucking modes, but the base game is still going to be the same. I think Overwatch 1, they're still going to add any new map or character that's still going to be added into the original game. So it's a little weird to call it Overwatch 2, or this is really, it's like, here's like some shit that's kind of could have been added to the base game anyway, and it's not that different. Like you're still playing the same shit, but I don't know, a little weird, but it is kind of, you know, it is kind of like a marketing thing that's kind of like worked on me of like, oh, I haven't fucking played Overwatch in, you know, fucking years or whatever. And like, oh, they're making a second one, I'll check it out. And then like the more I learn, it's like, well, it just sounds like it's not even going to be that much of an improvement really. It's just fucking like some added like story shit, which who fucking cares about the Overwatch story? I certainly don't. But it's coming out eventually. We'll see. And, yeah, that was pretty much BlizzCon 2019. All the stuff that I cared about anyway. There's probably some like World of Warcraft something or other and fucking Hearthstone horse shit, but I've trained my eyes and my ears to completely like gloss over. Anytime those games are mentioned, it just goes right by me. It's like I never fucking saw it. You know, it's like reading through like redacted classified documents where it's like, oh, you know, a new expansion for Beep was fucking announced, and as well as, you know, new card packs for Beep. I mean, I'm just like not that much of a geek. There's certain games that it's like fucking, you know, I play a lot of fucking video games. There's certain ones that's like, that's kind of gay. I'm not fucking really that interested in it. It's a very fine line, I know. It's my own personal Bushido code that I live by. You know, I don't get the whole fucking Blizzard games are fucking heads and shoulders above all the other games. Oh, this fucking legendary company, and I don't really get that fanboy shit. I never did. Like fucking all around fucking whatever, StarCraft and Warcraft and all that shit. Yeah, those games, I played those games and I'm like, oh, these are pretty cool, and just moved on. There's certain people who are just fucking, you know, a big community of fucking people who are just like, dude, Blizzard games, dude, oh my god, like fucking, I mean, you don't really hear too much about that now, since they came out in support of the genocide of all Taiwanese people. It's just, you know, Blizzard it's like they put out a couple good games every 5 years. The way I look at it is like fucking like, okay, like again, some like about half of them, like I have no interest in playing at all. And the other half that I do play, I'm like, oh, they're pretty good. But I don't see why they get their own convention that like dominates the news cycle for fucking weeks when it comes out of all these games that have like no release date and nothing, no like new brand new shit either. It's like Diablo 4, cool, which the base of that, it's like fucking, it's another Diablo game, just tweaks here and there, whatever, fucking whatever, World of Warcraft expansions and bullshit like that. I could see if they had like all like every one of like the Activision games and Blizzard games. If it was like, this is where we're announcing and showing them every year. This is like BlizzCon, Activision BlizzCon, like all this fucking shit that Activision has together. And they skipped like E3 completely and just showed off like, here's the new Call of Duty and fucking whatever. Throw Destiny. I don't know if they even fucking own, if they even have control of Destiny anymore, or if that's its own thing. But like all the fucking Activision shit, like here's everything together, Blizzard shit. Here's like a convention of that. I can see that, but I couldn't even tell you really what else Activision publishes these days besides like Call of Duty and shit. Like that's the one I know for sure. But yeah, speaking of which, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, not Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That's not modern enough anymore. As dumb and confusing as that may sound at first, after playing through the Modern Warfare campaign of the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I do kind of get it. I mean, why they called it that? When Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare came out, that was like fucking Iraq, the Iraq War, Afghanistan, and we were seeing basic cable news footage of drone strikes and helicopter, AC fucking 130 strikes and all that shit. Thermal imaging from fucking helicopters and like all the whole like shock and awe and all that shit. But it's like fucking like, I hadn't really seen this shit covered that much, you know what I mean? Like before, just on every day on fucking like cable news or whatever, it was different to see. And, they're going to make a game back then called Modern Warfare. It's like, all right, we're going to fucking go into that and, you're going to be playing through that. But at the end of the day, it was still fairly like traditional, like it's this country's army versus that country's army. So like sort of, like fucking storming the cities and tanks and all that shit, dropping bombs, and then it's still like that sort of war. Just again, just different fucking technology we were using. But but now in modern current year, I mean we're actually still fighting those wars are still going on. We're still fucking fighting them. But the front lines are all terrorist attacks from small cells and special ops night raids to retaliate, and trying to pit like one shitty group of goat fucking towel heads against each other, against another one. All still fucking run by the Jews, of course. Fucking Jews, fucking Jew wars never change, something like that. But yeah, keeping up with that, I mean, there aren't any like big set piece tank battles in Modern Warfare. You're not fucking, the game doesn't have you like holding a hill while a battalion of enemy soldiers assault your squad or anything like that. It's all much smaller scale, subdued, stripped down type of missions that you're doing for a Call of Duty game. I mean the most like intense moments in there, I think, are like the few levels where you're doing the, like nighttime raids on houses. You bust into a house in the middle of the night, and you're in there like shoulder to shoulder with your squad mates, and you're going, upstairs, going room to room, checking corners, and trying to make like snap decisions when you find people moving, like who's a threat, who's a civilian, and they're fucking like going under their beds and like taking out AKs and shit, or like fucking pulling out fucking pistols on you and taking hostages and shit like that. I mean, the games, they're drawing like inspiration from movies like Zero Dark 30 and shit like that. Rather than, again, when Call of Duty 4 came out, it was still kind of like, well, it's going to be like Saving Private Ryan, kind of, or whatever, Patton, like, like those fucking movies, like, these fucking, like, tank battles and shit like that. Fucking just that they just use fucking modern technology. It's like, no, this is, going to go a different direction to this, like, smaller scale, like, infantry battle, like, close quarters type shit. It's also probably one of the most comprehensible Call of Duty campaigns, because they focus on these 4 characters the entire time, and they're telling like a fairly legit, just like a linear story, like a start to finish, like, oh, here's the bad guy, like fucking, these characters are doing their thing, and rather than like hopping around the world in like this massive war, and you're just fucking, all right, now you're going to be fucking taking part in this fucking battle here in Russia or whatever, and now you're fucking in, LA or whatever the fuck they were doing, like all over the place. Like, rather than doing that, it's like, all right, we're just going to go like step by step, like, here's the story we're telling, just kind of go with it. It works. I actually like it. Like switching sides and the usual nonsense that they pull in the Call of Duty game. It's just like fucking, it's like, I don't know, here's just like levels, you're just jumping around. I guess there's some kind of story in the background and whatever the fucking this war is about. It's like, no, like here's like these characters' story they're going through. It opens up with you discovering a warehouse full of chemical weapons that you think belong to the Russians or something like that. Then those chemical weapons get stolen, and then it cuts to like a terrorist attack happening in London, which I know it's fucking, it's like, oh, this makes sense, world, it's like, you kind of are like world hopping, but again, it's just fucking like, that might sound unrelated and exactly like the globe trotting bullshit I said they didn't do this time. But yeah, I mean, once you go to London, there's the attack on Piccadilly Circus they use that to like introduce, like, just like introducing like a character, one of the main characters is going to be through the rest of the game. And the chemicals come back later at the end and shit, so like it ties together, like just like that opening scene, just like, all right, if you're watching like a show or so, it's like, here's like a cold open of setting up like the main plot of these chemical weapons. It's going to be like the driving force of the rest of the fucking story, and then like, all right, and then it's going to cut to the beginning of like the main story. It's like, all right, here's this character, what he's doing, like what he's going through and shit in in London. That level's pretty fucking crazy. It's like they were going for putting you in like the middle of a mass shooting. It feels like you're just fucking in the middle of just like shit like raining down on you, like Mandalay Bay in Vegas or something like that, or like Christchurch or anything like that. Where when that shit would happen, you listen to like the eyewitness accounts of those, and they're describing what happened, and it's like fucking like, oh, just fucking going about a normal day, and then automatic weapon fire just started like reverberating around the buildings that sounded like it was coming from every direction, because just like, you can't tell if it's 8 different guns firing or one, and the sound's just fucking like bouncing off the buildings and shit like that. Civilians are getting mowed down in front of you, and people are yelling for help, and you just fucking like, just fucking chaos pretty much is surrounding you. And this fucking like 2 seconds ago it was like a normal fucking day. And you're playing as a cop, so you've got like half a dozen situations that you feel like you should be responding to, like you should be going to help this fucking group of civilians over there, or fucking like whatever, or do you run up and you're seeing guys standing on top of cars and like blasting bullets into crowds of people, and this suicide bombers are rushing you, and you're trying to fucking go through these buildings and clear them out, and where there's fucking like shooters on the fucking like 3rd floor or whatever, you're going through the lobby and fucking like trying to go up and like clear out that group up there, and you can't really respond to, you can't like save everybody, you can't fucking get to every threat that's there, so you're just kind of like running through, like, okay, I gotta like prioritize, all right, I gotta go fucking do this, I gotta go do that. This fucking hostages are there, like wired with explosives, and from what I understand, that's pretty much just life in London now, how it goes in every day. But but as a peace-loving, non-violent American, it's pretty harrowing and horrifying to live through. So I'm sure like most of what goes on at that level is probably very scripted and would play out more or less exactly the same way each time that you played it. But I think they did do like an excellent job of making it seem like this is just, this organic, overwhelming like moment of panic where you just fucking you're just thrown into this fucking situation and you just go deal with it. Like I think they did a good job of like making that seem like it's fucking shit happening. It's like, we probably have no choice but to go up in the building and fucking take them out or go over here and do what you gotta do. You probably couldn't fucking like go off the the main path too much, but it does feel pretty open and shit. You stop in your tracks and you're just thinking, it's like, all right, what do I do? Like fucking, this shot's being fired to your right and some fucking broad's trying to hide behind a car, like, right in front of you. And then, you look up and there's somebody with a fucking machine guns rounding the corner in the fucking street and shit. So it's like, you're trying to figure out like who your targets are, like who the shooters are versus like, just regular civilians in the crowd, and it's pretty fucking good. Like I like that a lot. I'm like fucking, that's pretty, it's pretty intense, a little bit, different than what you're used to in shooters. It's not just fucking, again, going through like some, war zone with just all, like everybody's a soldier that you're fighting. It's fucking like, all right, here's this like shit happening, dude. There's fucking like people you got to take out, and it's yeah, I know there was like a big hubbubaloo about how quote unquote controversial the campaign is in modern warfare, but that was from like the usual faggots. It was fucking just, you read articles like, has Call of Duty gone too far? And, it was so like violent and disturbing. I was uncomfortable playing it. And, they're trying to like fucking asking like, Infinity Ward, like repeatedly, are you gonna like tone this down? Cause fucking like, I don't know, dude, it's not fucking palatable or whatever. So, you got like that bullshit was all over the previews of the game, which at this point in time, you can't really tell if that was just like marketing that was being pushed, or typical games journalist gayness. Like, you never really fucking tell. But there's nothing that but playing through it is nothing I really found crazy or like out of the norm, ultra violent or anything like that. It's fucking just like, I don't know, dude, it's fucking just some cool shit in there that's fucking new, and you know what I mean? And like a lot of it's just pretty standard, just fucking going through, again, just fucking running through fucking cities and shit and shooting fucking people. There is one level where you play as a little girl, maybe like 10 or 12 years old. And a Russian soldier like kicks his way into her house and shoots her father. And that level has you like hiding under tables, trying to avoid him until you can find like a knife to stab him a few times. Like, you stab him once, then he kind of takes the knife out and searches for you again. You're hiding like it's fucking Outlast or something like that, like a survival horror type thing where you're trying to fucking like not let him see you and sneak up behind him and stab him and shit. But it's not like fucking, even when you are stabbing him, it's not like you're like gutting him. It's always fucking like super explicit, just like gutting and fucking, torturing him or anything like that. It's also not like you're like attacking like some innocent civilian or anything like that, or he's trying to like rape you. Nothing like that. He's trying to fucking like grab you and you're trying to fucking survive and get away from him by stabbing him. But I mean, like, whatever. After like shooting fucking 500 people, like, oh, dude, this was so like disturbing. It's just like, whatever, man. I'm just fucking stabbing this guy. Who fucking cares? I mean, you're just trying to kill him before he can kill you or whatever, or your brother, or I mean, maybe just the fact that you're playing a child in that level is the big like faux outrage, but it's a first person game, so who fucking cares? So your perspective's a little bit lower. Like, that's what it comes down to. And these are also the same people who tell you to listen to that fucking Greta retard about climate change, whatever the fuck that is. Or they'd probably also defend child trannies or whatever, but now it's fucking like, oh, there's a girl, a little girl stabbing somebody. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you shocked about now? Like, what the fuck is this bullshit? So yeah, I didn't really find anything in modern warfare out of line really from any other game in the series. Specifically, it's not even like it didn't even seem like they're trying to go out of their way to be like really that like crazy or push limits. Like, there was no Modern Warfare 2 where they had like the no Russian mission, famously, or even like World War II, where it seems like they were deliberately trying to like piss like these people off, like the lefty game critics, by like fucking, they're like really trying to like humanize the Nazis. And World War II, like Call of Duty World War II, that game was fucking way fucking gorier than fucking Modern Warfare. Like that was like crazy, like insanely bloody. Like I was like shocked, like I was shocked, like how bloody that shit was, where it's fucking, legs are fucking being blown off and fucking heads exploding and shit. Just fucking, it's gory as fuck. Modern Warfare is pretty fucking like PG-13 by comparison. It's really not. I mean, you shoot people in the head, just little like sprays, like mists of blood, and they drop and shit. It's not fucking like crazy. You fucking like walk into a claymore, you just kind of collapse and you die. It's not like fucking World War II, which is like, holy shit, dude, my fucking legs just fucking came off and shit like that. Like it's fucking like that. Like that shit was fucking crazy. And the only level I can think of that's fucking a little bit risque, or whatever the fuck they're going for. There's another flashback with that girl, like the little girl from that stealth level, Farah, and it kind of like goes forward a little bit, and now she's like an adult. She does get captured. She's in prison, and she's being tortured by being waterboarded, not raped. I mean, it's never fucking rape, goddammit. And I mean, fuck, if you're gonna be like, oh, just the fact that there's waterboarding in the game. I mean, waterboarding, that was kind of like a hot button issue, like 5 years ago or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like fucking, really think anybody cared about that now or whatever. Like they stopped doing it in the military or whatever the fuck, like recently, or it's like, or whatever, dude. It's fucking like whatever. Like who fucking cares? There's not really that much to that scene. I mean, like you're like, even if you're gonna say like, oh, dude, they're doing that to like push buttons or whatever. It's like you're the one that's being tortured. Like you're being waterboarded in the scene, and it's being done by the game's villain. Or, you know what I mean? So it's like fucking, they were trying to make a statement about that. It's not like they were saying waterboarding's like good. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking, it's like putting you in the shoes of being tortured. It's not like you're doing it to somebody or anything like that. And then there is another part towards the end where you have, the main villain, like the antagonist, you capture his, second in command, and you're trying to get him to give you information. So, you bring in his wife and his child, like, the fucking, like, you captured them too. So it's fucking, you have him in this room, you're fucking like asking him quiet. He's not talking. So it's like, all right, well, maybe this will make you talk. And fucking, van door opens up and you drag out his fucking wife and his kid and bring them into the room. And they give you a revolver, and it's fucking like, oh, like fucking, so to get him to talk, you're like pointing the gun at his fucking wife and kid and shit. But then like, after you do that, like he just cracks and he starts telling you what you want to know. As you're doing that, if you pull the trigger to try to like shoot the fucking, the kid and the fucking wife, which of course I did. I mean, it's fucking like, all right, dude, I'm just like, fuck this guy, you know what I mean? You try doing that, and then the gun's empty. Like you can't even, like, it's not like you can fucking blow the kid's brain out or anything like that. It's empty. So then it's like, all right. So then another character's like, all right, well, it was empty, but now we're gonna put bullets in it. So he loads the revolver up with bullets and fucking gives it back to you. And again, I tried to fucking blow the kid's fucking brains all over the wall. Even after like he had given up the information, he didn't really need to do that. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking shoot his kid, dude, because this guy was in the fucking story. It's like, this guy here is a real like monster. He's fucking responsible for killing hundreds, if not thousands, of fucking like innocent people and women and children and shit. Like his nickname in the game is the Butcher. So if they're trying to put you in the situation is try to make you think about the moral dilemma of like fucking, it's like, oh, you know, are you willing to kill this woman and child to potentially save countless lives down the road, like that type of thing? Or, you know, would you save 2 people on a train track to fucking save 100 people later? It was like that kind of thing. It was like, oh, are you willing to fucking kill the wife and the kid to get the information you need to fucking take down the main terrorist guy? And it's fucking like, I had already fucking crossed that bridge. Like, as soon as they fucking like put the gun in my hand, I'm like, yeah, dude, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, fuck the wife, fuck the kid, dude. I don't fucking care. I just wish they let you rape both of them, the wife and the kid, in front of their father and fucking husband or whatever. Then you get to rape him afterwards for no reason, just because. Like that would have been something, like, if it was in there. But all right, that's a little salty, but you know, I would have taken it. But no, of course not. You know, if you kill a couple hundred people and they call you a hero, but rape a child and they call you a pedophile. That's just the type of world that we live in these days. Unfucking believable. Yeah, you can't shoot them either. The fucking the wife and the kid, you can't even just like wound them or anything. The game won't let you. I mean, you can't fucking shoot any civilians either. So I just don't know what the fuck the previews of the game we're fucking talking about. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, we're talking about. As usual, it's like they didn't even fucking play the game at all. Or they played it for 5 minutes and had to write some clickbait garbage on the site to try to keep their jobs. And they're not even good at that either. It's like nothing really like at all like out of the ordinary in this fucking game as far as, again, violence or, torture or, of course, no rape. I'm not a big fucking mod guy. I don't really usually play games with mods, but if anyone could mod into one of the Call of Duty games where you just fucking wartime atrocity style rapes, like that fucking make it so much better. But yeah, so the campaign is solid. I mean, I'm glad I played it. I mean, I'd say there's nothing like crazy or particularly innovative in any sense of the word. It was just a good, well-paced Call of Duty single-player story. That's again, the story in it. I think they tell it like it's just like a notch or two above what they usually do as far as just like making sense and fucking like just telling a good fucking story that you can follow. It's fucking like, all right, cool. It's not just fucking bunch of like military jargon bullshit and fucking like hopping fucking just like battle the battle for no reason. It's like, oh, they made like a pretty decent fucking story. Then we've got the multiplayer for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is the main draw. I think World War II I think that's my most played Steam game still. I mean, the Call of Duty games aren't on Steam anymore. Now we're on like if you're playing on PC, you have to use the battle.net Activision Blizzard launcher, whatever the fuck that is. Whatever it's called, of Duty. So the biggest change to the multiplayer is that it's now crossplay between all platforms that it's on. Meaning if they're playing the game on PC, you can play it with people who are on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One or whatever. And that actually works fucking great. Like that's just fucking like, oh, I figured like, the first time they're doing it, it's going to be like buggy and problems, so some problems with it, but, there's really no fucking downside to that I can think of. Fucking like just play just a bigger pool of people you can fucking play with, like whatever. Again, everyone's on an Activision account when they're playing it, but it's just fucking same shit. Like who cares? The big comeback that people would always give you if you played on PC was always fucking like, oh yeah, sure, you get to play the game in fucking ultra wide and fucking, ultra graphic settings. Oh, I bet it looks great, but the game's gonna be dead in like fucking 6 months on PC, lol. You always get that shit. But now it's like fucking like, yeah, well, fuck you, because it's fucking like we're all playing the same fucking game, dude. Just, again, mine looks better than yours. So how about that, faggots? So the game runs amazingly well for me. I mean, it's Call of Duty, of course. It's one of the highest budget games there is. That series is always just pump a ton of fucking money into it, and it comes out like clockwork every year. Uses the same engine more or less, like they have since fucking Call of Duty 4 or whatever. It's the same shit. But it's just always nice to play a PC game that just works with virtually like no issues. It just fucking just press play, install it, press play, and just fucking like, okay, it just works. Like it runs fine. Because even the past couple of Call of Duties have had like some like weird shit with the game, like fucking the game would just be endlessly like updating. You have to like uninstall it and fucking reinstall it, and there'd be connection issues and just like weird shit like that. But Modern Warfare on PC It's basically just fucking, it's like, oh, it's like so well optimized. It's like, it's pretty much like playing it on a console again. I mean, you just fucking hit play and it just fucking plays, and it's fine. For me anyway. I know, of course, with PC shit, you're going to hear people complaining about this and that, but my experience is fucking like, this runs fucking great. Like, it's fucking pisser. Just works. The only flaw that I could really notice was the cutscenes in the campaign are choppy, because they use those to hide the loading in the game between levels and shit. That can get bad sometimes. It's like freezing up like completely for a couple seconds. It'll start up and it's like choppy and all that, and the sound will get distinct. So I don't know why they decided to do it that way rather than have like give me a fucking loading screen for like whatever, a minute or two or whatever, just to load up what you need to. And but in the end, I mean, it's just fucking cutscenes. It's like Call of Duty cutscenes, and again, the story in the campaign's okay, but really, who fucking cares? Again, I like the fucking like the levels and all that, but it's fucking like, again, the story makes sense through playing the game, but it's like, oh no, these fucking cutscenes are a little choppy. It's like, I'm not gonna. Again, I wish they didn't do that, but it's not fucking like, oh, dude, ruins the game. It's just fucking like, I don't know, dude, choppy cutscenes. I'll fucking deal with it. Anyway, yeah, the multiplayer I was talking about. Obviously, that's not an issue. The crossplay works great. I'm actually using a keyboard and mouse for the first time playing a Call of Duty game, and of course, that's brings up the eternal retarded debate of keyboard and mouse versus controller. And yeah, I mean, the general consensus that you get is fucking, it's an advantage if you have a mouse because you can aim quicker and you can aim more precisely when you're shooting. And maybe that's true at like a certain level of play. Like, if you had like evenly matched people of fucking, who were both top tier, top fucking 5% of fucking players in the world, and you put them against each other, and it's fucking like, oh well, obviously the guy with the fucking mouse is going to be fucking like aiming. They're gonna get like 2 or 3 more bullets and hitting before the other guy can fucking react or like whatever. But for me, I mean, I don't think I'm any better or worse off with either option. It's a fucking it's a trade off between. Yeah, I can aim a little bit better, a little faster with the mouse, but on the other hand, having like an analog stick to like slap that thing around for like strafing and movement and all that. It's way more difficult to run and slide and jump and all that shit with a keyboard. I mean, it's just fucking, I find anyway, I just don't find it, like, no matter how much I play with, again, I fucking played keyboard and mouse shit from the beginning, pretty much, like, playing Aliens versus Predator and whatever, fucking 1999, playing those fucking multiplayer shooters. I always just find it's kind of like cumbersome moving around, clickity-clackity, and meanwhile people on fucking controllers are like running circles around you, and you know what I mean, it's fucking like sliding and fucking going prone and fucking like circle strafing the shit out of you. But yeah, no discernible difference as far as I can tell between me. I'm not like fucking like, oh, of course, dude, I'm doing much better because I'm on a fucking keyboard and mouse, and I still can't snipe for shit. It doesn't make me any more patient or tactile while I'm playing, or smarter. I mean, it doesn't fucking fix my shitty eyes or my shitty brain. I'm still lucky if I fucking like break even in a game. I feel pretty good about myself. And I actually did think that there might be an issue trying to get like a crossplay party going to play with other people, because the person I was trying to play with was playing on an Xbox, where we kept trying to like get in each other's parties and on each other's friends list, but he couldn't see my friend requests and I couldn't see his, and I was like, all right, maybe it's down right now, maybe it's fucking just not working, or maybe you just can't do that. But I was playing, you could see like people with they show you the icon of what they're playing on, so it's like, yeah, I know when I'm playing games, I'm playing with people on Xboxes and PlayStations and shit, but I can't, for some reason, I can't like invite somebody to join me into a party or into a game. But it was just a matter of you have to create like a Call of Duty or a fucking Activision account, and you have to search like in game, obviously, as opposed to like searching through Xbox Live or PSN or whatever. It's just pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, I'm not, it's like, I'm not playing on Xbox, but if you search for me on Xbox, it's like, you'll see, I have the same name. You'll see my account there, but you send me like party requests and friend requests or whatever. I'm not going to see it there because I'm just not on. You got to do it through the game, through the Call of Duty account. So yeah, just human error there. I mean, it does work, and hopefully most major online games after this will follow suit with that, because it is a fucking nice feature, really. And again, just at the very base of it, just having a bigger player base to fucking go through for anything, any kind of multiplayer thing, is good. And then you get no more like fucking like, oh, we're playing the same game. Like, what are you playing on? Like, oh, that sucks because I bought it on another system. And you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it sucks we're playing the same game, but we can't play, we just can't play together. Like that shit's for the fucking birds, I think. Like, I think again, it's fucking, hopefully people, other companies see this and they're like, all right, dude, we should just do this. Like why not? Supposedly it's fucking an easy thing to do. But, so yeah, what I like about Modern Warfare, it's very stripped down, back to basics. Everything from like the loadouts to the menus are really easy to understand. There's no fucking, you're not earning like loot boxes. Then you need keys to open these loot boxes, and there's no fucking like grappling hooks and jet boosting around like it's fucking like Halo. It's just like you're a soldier with a gun and maybe a grenade if you equip it, and boots on the ground is what they always say they're going for, and that's pretty much what Modern Warfare is. It just feels very just like you're a soldier, you're on the ground, like there's no bullshit. You're just fucking like going and doing soldier stuff. And when it comes to like game types that I'm playing in multiplayer, I'm very old school. I mean, I'll play fucking team deathmatch all day long, and usually with Call of Duty, I play hardcore because the normal modes are fucking insane. The amount of bullets it usually takes to kill somebody. In this one, in Modern Warfare though, they change it up. So like the regular standard modes, it almost feels like you're playing hardcore, where you die super fast. Just very quickly, like a couple bullets in your fucking body, you just drop. I actually like that as well. It just feels more lethal. It's much more fucking immediate. It's not, it always fucking made me mad. I'm fucking like, pumping half a clip into somebody and they fucking turn around and fucking murder you. If you're playing the normal mode, you still have the mini map and radar in the corner at all times, which is now standard. It's the standard Call of Duty thing, which I actually find kind of annoying, just because I don't like splitting my attention the entire match looking fucking. It's like, all right, you have to look at the radar for people, and it's just like keep me away from just like playing the game. I just think it's also bullshit that you can't just fucking it reveals your position when you fire, and it's also kind of bullshit that it's like fucking like, well, then you can just equip a silencer and it won't fucking show up on the map, and it just makes UAVs kind of almost pointless, especially when people use like cold-blooded perks. They don't show up, which I do, of course. Like, why wouldn't you use that? It's just kind of like, well, you just constantly it's almost like constantly having a fucking UAV the whole time anyway. And, you use a UAV and half the people aren't going to show up. And, I like how, if you're playing in a hardcore game with no fucking radar, usually, then it's like, all right, well, I earned a UAV, and you fucking throw it up. And that's like a game changer, because it's like, all right, well, now for the 30 seconds or a minute that it's up, it's like, now I can I'll look at the map for these, like right when it's up, you know what I mean? And the other team, that the other team doesn't have one, so it's like, all right, well, the kill streak gave you this advantage, and, it makes sense, you know what I mean? As opposed to it just like constantly being there. And, there are actually more useful perks you could be using rather than cold-blooded when you're playing hardcore, because again, it's very rare that the UAVs go up and shit. So yeah, I just find that like it means something when the fucking UAVs are up there. I just think like the entire flow and balancing of the game seems better in hardcore usually. There's less bullshit going on in general. It's fucking, again, just more boots on the ground, focused. So you're just fucking paying attention to what you're doing. So yeah, as far as new modes go, there's a playlist right now with it's all nighttime maps, which is interesting. You have to wear night vision goggles if you want to see anything more than like 10 feet in front of you. But when you're wearing the night vision goggles, you can't use your scope. Like you can't like aim down sights. Instead, what they do is they give you like a laser scope, whatever laser sight to aim with. Which when you press like the left trigger, when you do the aim down sight thing, it's just like the laser pops up. But once you do that, everybody can see that, like your team and the other team that you're trying to fucking like aim. So you're trying to fucking laser is also like pointing everybody else like right to where you are too, if they were to follow it. So, there's like this balance or strategy where you're giving away your position when you're aiming. So you want to do it like sparingly. And you can't use long range scope. So, I mean, that all just brings the action in closer. So, it's unique. I kind of like it. It's somewhere like right in between like the standard game types and like the hardcore mode. Where they have like, body, if you shoot somebody in the body, it does normal damage, which in this game, it's actually pretty quick. It's pretty fucking easy to kill people anyway. So it's like they kept that the same, but then they have, I think like any kind of headshots, like a one shot kill, which I think in the normal modes, you might take a couple depending on the gun and shit. So we kind of like that. It's just like a fucking, right in the middle between fucking like regular and fucking hardcore. So this is pretty interesting. And again, it's more close quarters and shit. It reminds me a bit of like old school Ghost Recon or something where you just go on just night vision all the time. And, the other new mode in there is, Ground War, which is essentially it's conquest from Battlefield, where, you just have like a huge map and, vehicles. I think it's, a higher player because like 60 something people playing at a time. You're trying to capture control points and shit, which I think it's a good idea. I mean, if they did it right, it would work well in fucking Call of Duty. Why not? Here's Battlefield in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? It's fucking like, Call of Duty, fucking smooth, fucking awesome controls, just, but the scale of Battlefield, like that could work fucking great. There's no blackout battle royale like there was in Black Ops 4. So, here's like a bigger game type if you want that, and it's fucking less boring than playing a fucking battle royale on top of that. So again, I like the idea of Ground War, but the map that it's on kind of blows. I played maybe 3 Ground War games I've tried getting into, and they've all been on this one terrible map. It might only be this one map that's in that game type. I don't know. There might be 2 or 3 or something. I've only seen the one. It's just like city streets and some buildings that you can get into. People driving tanks and flying helicopters. And yeah, guess what happens? I mean, you fucking fly a helicopter to the top of one of the buildings, and then the passengers in the helicopter get out on top of the buildings, on top of the roof, and they sit there and snipe the whole game. And that's pretty much Ground War. That's pretty much what that game type like really is. They even have the battlefield spawn on your squad system. So, as long as one person is alive in the squad, you can spawn on them. So it's fucking, you get somebody up in the building on the roof, and the whole squad's just going to keep spawning on them. And so it's like a constant, there's always going to be snipers on these fucking roofs. Like there's nothing you can fucking do about that. And if you're not sniping, you're dead pretty much. You're going to just die from snipers on top of roofs. If it's like, I'm going to try sniping somewhere. If you're not like sniping on top of a building, you should probably get on top of a building. If you're on foot and it's like, I'm on foot, I'm going to try to get to the top get to a roof, and kill some of those enemy snipers up there. It's just going to suck because, trying to get up there, because I don't think there's any working elevators in the game. So they have you run up these sterile fucking 30-floor stairwells. You had to like go all the way up to the top of the fucking building. Nothing going. There's like nothing on any of the floors there beneath it. It's just fucking just a stairwell. You're running up these fucking like 30 flights to the top. Which I mean, they're most likely going to have claymores all over them because why wouldn't they? There's fucking snipers up there. Just plant fucking claymores everywhere. The map just seems quickly thrown together, or like it's repurposed. Like maybe at some point it was like a blackout map that they were working on, and then halfway through making it, halfway through like the development of Modern Warfare, they had the idea for this ground war game type. Which I'd much rather, again, if the map was good, I'd much rather play fucking ground war than blackout, you know? But they didn't think of like how quickly it would just become pointless team sniper is the game. Like that's what it is. Fucking everybody's just gonna sit there and snipe. It's just a big fucking map with a ton of people on it. Why wouldn't you just fucking like camp up top, like as high as you just get as high as you can get and just sit there and just fucking like snipe, you know? All of the capture points on the map can easily be defended by just posting up on roofs and fucking spraying down at any idiot trying to fucking play the game the right way and like trying to like capture points. Like, oh, I was gonna sit there and fucking snipe. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Even trying to use any of the vehicles on there, it's a pretty big deal, I guess. So it's like maybe the first time that there's fucking like actual vehicles in a Call of Duty game. I mean, besides Blackout had some or whatever, but it's fucking like in like this team-based fucking big scale thing. It's fucking like, oh, here's helicopters and tanks and shit and all that shit. It's like, I think it's the first time we could actually play them. Well, besides Call of Duty 3, which is here's a tank, you can drive it around in a circle and that's it. But yeah, good luck with that because there aren't any set classes that you're picking from. So you're just using your custom classes from any other PvP game type. So you know, everybody there can have RPGs set as secondary weapons. So you're either a sniper or you're a target, pretty much what it comes down to. So is what the fucking game type is. And I know that's how like a lot of people play Call of Duty games anyway, which is just fucking all I do is snipe. I just fucking sit somewhere and I snipe and I find the best sniping spots and like whatever. But it's fucking just like, well, that's pretty much what this is. Like everybody's gonna fucking do that. Otherwise, it's fucking pointless of playing because you're just gonna get fucking sniped because the goddamn maps are so big. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was unintentional here. Like, I don't think they were making like, dude, let's make a sniper fucking game type. It's like, no, but that's kind of what this turned into. But yeah, anyways, but the standards that I like, that I've always liked in the Call of Duty games, you know, team deathmatch, domination, search and destroy, normal or hardcore for either of them. It's really fucking fun. Like, it is fucking, again, it's got the usual fucking bullshit where you'll spawn and die in a second. It's Call of Duty still, but it's fucking, this is still fun. And, I just like how it's just stripped down, just play the fucking game, not much to it, and good times. And then the modes that I usually don't like in these games, I still don't like. Kill confirmed is still gay as shit. Headquarters sucks. It's just a fucking like camp fest. It's camp fest the game. There's some new one called EMP, which I think I only played that once. Like when you set up fucking just like a quick play or whatever, just you know, put me into fucking. They give you like a list of the game types and you can check, you know, either check on or check off fucking the game types you want to play, and just kind of like cycles through it. Which I like that too. That's kind of what I did whenever I'd host a game or was playing a game by myself. I'd be like, all right, I'll play a couple of these games, you know, this game type, you know, team deathmatch, and then after a couple, I'd switch to something else, then fucking go through that. A couple times, switch over. So I kind of like how they have just like, here's a hopper of this shit, and just, you know, just stay in there. We'll just fucking randomly pick from the game types you like. I like that a lot. So yeah, this EMP thing I've only played once, which is, it's basically neutral bomb. But, you know, it's a bomb in the center of the map. You try to get it and then bring it into the enemy's base and blow it up or whatever. And then an EMP goes off. But once you get killed in this game type, you have to be revived by a teammate. Like, you can't just respawn. So, like, that EMP seemed alright, but I think the rounds in there go on for too long. So, if you do get downed early on in the game, you gotta be waiting around for what seems like 5 minutes or so to be, like, revived or the round to end or whatever. Which nobody's going to do. Like, nobody's going to try to revive you usually because, not without reason, because it's fucking like, all right, well, people know that there's, the people they killed can be revived. So wherever I kill this guy, I'm just going to sit here and wait for somebody to come and be vulnerable as they're reviving them and try to, like, snipe them or kill them or whatever as they're doing that. Or you're just waiting for the round to end for like 5 minutes or however the fuck long the rounds are. I don't know. I'll stick to the classics. Thank you. I'm an old man. I like my old fucking team deathmatch bullshit. There's also no zombies in the game, so that's a plus. I'm sure I'll be playing and talking about modern warfare plenty in the coming months. Hopefully I can say modern warfare without fucking sounding like a retard by the end of it. It's always a stretch trying to talk about these fucking, trying to make like a multiplayer shooter interesting podcast material where it's fucking, I shot this guy and he died, and then I get shot, and then I died, and then I respawned and ran around for a little while, and I saw somebody, but decided not to shoot at him, and I should have shot him because he shot me later. It's probably going to be about 6 months of that, so that's what the podcast is going to be from now on. So you'll probably want to put yourself into hypersleep and wait a couple 1,000 years and then climb aboard the nearest spacecraft and rocket yourself into the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds, the game made by Obsidian, otherwise known as Fallout in Space. I'm only like half a dozen hours or so into the Outer Worlds, and if I had to sum it up, I'd say it's very similar to Fallout, but it's in space. Specifically, it's like Fallout New Vegas, which makes sense because it's made by Obsidian, who are the developers of New Vegas. So you have the expected, you start off, you have the expected fucking character creator, where it's like, here's all the fucking features you can change, facial features and all that bullshit. You're moving the sliders around and throw some scars on your face. And, it doesn't really fucking matter because you'll be wearing armor the entire game and a helmet, and, you play in first person anyway. The stats for this are set up slightly different than what you're used to, but not really. This is still like the same basic idea. There's maybe 10 categories that you can improve. It's like melee, firearms, dialogue, technology, et cetera, the usual shit. But then from those categories, there are subcategories or specializations within those that you can't even like access. You can't even put points into like the specific, these more specific fucking skills until you have 50 points into the main category, which I'm assuming that's 50. Like that's like the halfway point. Like it's 50 out of 100 points. Like 100's the limit. But who knows? It's always a fucking random crapshoot with these fucking new RPG systems of like fucking like what do these numbers really mean? Like as compared to what? Like you have no idea until you fucking play a little bit. The plot of the Outer Worlds is it's the future. You're in space. There are all of these colonies on different planets, and mega corporations fund them. And the colonists are their loyal employees. They're all brainwashed into the company policies and bureaucracy. So for instance, like the first planet that I'm on now, I'm exploring has an the outpost there is sponsored by this company called Spacer's Choice. So everybody there is like an employee of this Spacer's Choice fucking whatever company. You go and talk to the gravedigger there, and he wants you to go around town and collect burial fees from people who have been they've been deemed legally responsible for the deaths of the people buried in the graveyard. So every person you talk to has like a similar like semi-funny story about how they've violated some minor code of conduct. And they inadvertently like killed the guy or whatever, just like some technicality that something they did, the company like went and fucking like holds them responsible for the guy dying or whatever. And every year they have to pay the fucking burial fee or whatever. Or fucking like, one guy is sick and he needs medicine, but he doesn't meet the required level of illness to get like a ration of pills. Like he has to like fucking fall below a certain line before fucking the company will give him his fucking medicine or whatever. So far, and I'm not very deep into it, mind you. It is a little one note, like when I saw the previews for the Outer Worlds and they explained the concept, they're saying it's like, these corporations have run amok in the future and, fucking they control everything. That's the joke. I mean, that's like the joke of the game. The fucking, the sheriff will give you bounties to go and collect, and gameplay wise it plays out like every other fucking bounty hunting mission that you've ever played in a game, where it's like fucking like, all right, you accept it and then a waypoint will pop up, so you go there, you kill somebody, collect the proof that you killed them, and return to the sheriff to collect some money. And only in the outer worlds, the sheriff will mention how she fucking has to fill out a bunch of forms afterwards. After that, get it? Again, it's like that's the joke. They're fucking like, there's a lot of corporate paperwork, bureaucracy here. So the game's okay, but it's definitely not like immediately fucking grabbing me like a good RPG would. It does stick so vehemently to like the Fallout 3 or 4 New Vegas formula, where it's like, all right, you see a named NPC, you go up and talk to him, and you're going to be locked into that close-up camera where you just listen to him talk, and you're picking from a few dialogue choices on the bottom of the screen. It's kind of like fucking another one of these. And again, like so far I'll stress, like none of the characters, the plot lines are really fucking that interesting that I found it. Again, it seems like this is like a by the numbers one of these games, but bureaucracy and fucking corporations, that's the fucking through line. So, there's some broad with me, like my companion that's good at fixing things, and that's basically her personality. Like her main personality trait is like, hey, I'm some chick who can fix stuff. All right. Everyone is pretty deadpan and like even keeled, by design, I think. It's a commentary on how working for big corporations turns you into an automaton or something like that. But now you're playing a game where everybody just kind of looks and acts the same. I mean, it's fucking like, here's the joke, is everyone's kind of going by these fucking strict guidelines, and okay, so every character is going to be within the strict guidelines, you know what I mean? Like the same shit. So you're doing tasks that you've done a million times before in a million different games, and this shit's kind of already just kind of like blending together of like, all right, just go here, go to this fucking waypoint, get some fucking MacGuffin, bring it back to the quest giver, and just what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Nothing's really standing out so far. Again, stressing that I'm pretty early on in the game. The art is good. And that's something. So, the planet that I'm on looks like it was like lifted from an episode of the original Star Trek series, where everything's super bright and colorful. There are all these fucking like 6 foot tall dandelions fucking all over the place in the open. These goofy looking beasts running around, and all of the computer equipment looks like it's from like 50s or 60s like sci-fi. And they definitely went with all in with the fucking the B movie sci-fi aesthetic from like the 60s or whatever. It's no Deadly Tower of Monsters art, but it's close. It's pretty good. The combat is actually more intense than I expected. You can die really fucking quick. Like if you start getting hit, there's a couple hits, you're just dead. If you go up against like higher level fucking creatures and shit, or like a group of enemies that's fucking like, oh, like maybe I can fucking finagle my way out. I don't know, I'm fucking dead in a matter of fucking seconds. There's like a VATS equivalent that lets you slow down time, but that's on a meter. You can only use it like sparingly at first, until I'm assuming like if you dump enough skill points into like taking appropriate perks to like up your time in VATS or whatever the fuck it is, time dilation they call it. So yeah, they went pretty crazy with the loot. Like certain weapons will cause different status effects when you hit an enemy weak point if you're in VATS. So it's like, you have like whatever, like a laser pistol when you fucking shoot somebody's head when you're in time dilation, whatever. That'll fucking just like blind them so they can't see. They're kind of incapacitated for a little bit, so that lets you fucking get some hits in and shit. Set people on fire, shit like that. It just all depends on like what weapon type you're using. So it seems like the combat might be the driving force to keep playing the Outer Worlds. Like that again, that's probably the most interesting part right now. It's like, oh, the combat's actually pretty good. Which is a pleasant surprise. Then you have to get through like the vapid, empty characters to get to the combat. So it's again not unlike New Vegas, which also felt like just a Fallout 3 mod. Agree, disagree. I don't really give a shit either way. But if you feel like expressing your thoughts, podcast at gruntfreepress.com. www.gruntfreepress.com is the center of the Outer Worlds, and I'm Absolute Deicide, waging my own form of modern warfare on everything gay in this world, this outer world. Damn, I should have fucking saved that one for last. Oh well.